I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Happy Monday, everybody. How is everybody?
Hi.
I gotta close a bunch of stuff out. I didn't do that when we were doing pre-show. And it's and you're also not as loud as I want you to be. There you go. Now
Really? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Now you're very, very loud. Okay, coming up on today's show, you guys. Gavin Newsom. He is the sleaziest sleaze in Sleaze Town.
For real.
Candace Owens. She is duking it out with Macron.
Macron. That's my name today, Emmanuel Macron.
Another disastrous Biden presser, and the California fires continue to rage. All of that and so much more coming up on the show today.
Pause.
You guys can find us on all of our socials and all the places, really, wherever you want to find us. chicksontheright.com/links. It has all the things there. chicksontheright.com/links is where you can find us. And then also, please make sure that you subscribe to this podcast if you haven't done that already. I don't know what you're doing with your life. It's 2025. Get it started in a positive direction by subscribing to this podcast. Please do it.
And then share with all of your friends. Can I give a shout out to one of our most devoted followers on X? It is Leanne. Leanne72 is her little @ and it's Lee Wells. And I swear to you, every single day, sometimes multiple times a day, she is posting about our show, telling people to follow it, putting little clips from our show, posting little gifs of us saying you're missing out if you're not following the chicks. I mean, there is no one who recruits harder for our show than Leanne72 on X. So thank you, Leanne, because it does not go unnoticed. I can assure you.
Very, very sweet.
It really, really is, you guys.
It's very sweet.
So nice. And then also Carrie from inreallifecreations.etsy.com. I'm just going to put that up on the screen right now. She's got some new designs that are so fun, you guys, that we wanted to show you. And if you are a tailgater, oh man, are you ever in luck? So she's got an official tailgater Chicks on the Right shirt, so you can see the front and the back on your screen right now. And the coolest part is that you can even get it personalized. If you want your name on the front, she can even add your name on the front.
So cute. Amazing? You got to get the little chucks to go with it too.
Yes, I love those. She's also got this new design that says balls. This country needs them. Look at our nails.
My hair is so red in that picture, isn't it? It's so red.
It's pretty red. Yeah. And then she also has, for babies, she's got this new design that says, all the cool kids follow the chicks on the right.
So cute.
So cute. So again, if you want to check out all the chicks merch, it's at inreallifecreations.etsy.com. Unfortunately, I did get a really sad email from one of our longtime followers who's been following us for 10 years. She would like help finding her mom.
Oh God, this is so heartbreaking.
Oh my gosh. Her mom has been missing since December 3rd. And so she asked if we could please publicize the photo. Her name is Heidi Guichard. I'm probably totally botching that name, but she's been missing for well over a month now, and they are just out of leads. And so she had hoped that at the very least, who knows, because we've got followers from absolutely all over the place. Who knows who might recognize her, but at the very least, if our community could come together and do some praying for this family that Heidi gets found, that would be really, really great. So
yeah, we can rally. We can totally rally. Mm-hmm. And there's a phone number.
The phone number on the screen, 978-297-1212. If you recognize her, know any information whatsoever about her, she is from Massachusetts. So that sucks, but we wanted to absolutely publicize it. And then one more just screenshot to show before we really get into the nitty gritty of the show. And that is, how there's over Christmas break, there were all these conservatives fighting with other conservatives. It seems like a trend right now.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one. I guess Steve Bannon and Elon Musk, I jumped ahead. We're going to get to that. First of all, that horrible show from Meghan Markle that's supposed to start on Netflix. We showed a preview of it, like a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
So tone deaf and gross. She has decided she wants to delay the premiere. It was supposed to start this Wednesday, and now she wants to delay it out until I think March. What's the date? March.
Nobody cares. This March.
Yeah, March 4th. And so people have very mixed reviews about this. She's trying to say, I want to focus on the needs of those impacted by the wildfires, but detractors are saying she just doesn't want to be overshadowed by the fires. And so she wants to make sure that when it premieres, everyone's eyes are focused on her, right?
Right.
So that's just another little note about that. But back to Steve Bannon, I had no idea that he was so anti-Elon. But this is according to Breitbart, he has declared war on Elon Musk, vowing to have him kicked out of the White House
crying out loud
by the time Trump is inaugurated. And that's what he said.
I think he's jealous. I think he's a little jealous.
I think he might be too.
Yeah, I think because he wants to be in Trump's good favor, and he was like friends with Trump, and now he's not as close to Trump, and he sees Elon as close. So there's like a little bit of man jealousy there, don't you think?
Right? That seems like what it is to me. Because I find all of this
ridiculous,
so exhausting. You know what I mean? I just, oh my God, I just hate it.
Who wouldn't do this is Elon. He wouldn't be concerning himself with trying to ruin Bannon because Bannon was close to Trump. You see what I'm saying? Like, dude, stop. Just stop. It's what girls do. It's what middle school girls do.
Yeah. Like, that just seems like really over the top. I'm going to make sure that he's kicked out of the White. Okay. Just wow.
How about not?
Just let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Just calm down. Simmer.
That's right. Want to make sure that all of our listeners, if you are not aware of the amazing products from Coat Defense, please be aware.
Be aware.
Be aware of how helpful this can be for your dogs. Not only their preventative powder, which also functions as a treatment powder for a lot of the skin irritations and rashes and itching that your dog might get, sometimes even from their own dog beds. So if you don't want to sprinkle this all over your dog or cat, cats also have skin issues, you can sprinkle it all over your dog's or cat's beds, and sometimes that'll take care of the problem. They also have this amazing dog shampoo, which is so nice, because if you're giving your dogs baths, sometimes the products that you use can actually strip oils that they need from their skin, and Coat Defense's products do not do that. We have a really great testimonial from Stacy, who said, "He is fixed." That was the subject line. She said, "Thousands of dollars spent at the vet because my pitty, Waylon, was breaking out and itching all the time. No one could figure out why. I felt like a horrible dog mom, and my baby was miserable. He had open wounds, and all I could do was keep throwing money and trying different things at it. I tried this, and he was better after the first wash." Coat Defense. All the redness and itching is gone. We've used the daily preventative powder daily, and he has not itched since. This product saved my sanity and my pup. Thank you to the owners of this product. I highly, highly recommend it. So just one more testimonial for the great product that is Coat Defense. If you go to coatdefense.com and use code CHICKS, you will save 15% off of your entire order. So check it out, coatdefense.com. I did this on purpose because I know how much everybody hates Gavin Newsom. He's so
greasy. He's very greasy.
Oh my God.
And slimy and weaselly. Yep.
Yeah. So I thought, let's get all the Gavin stuff out of the way.
It's a good idea. Yeah, let's do it.
And because you guys, unfortunately, I have a lot because he was so extra super duper sleazy. I have chills. Like, I have actual goosebumps just from the creep that I get from him. Oh my God. He's so gross.
Really creeps you out that much? Yeah.
God, he's just so slimy. He obviously wanted to be on TV a lot this weekend.
Yeah.
He feels like he's getting a bum rap because everybody, normal people are putting the blame squarely on from the fires on his shoulders. And a lot of the blame it belongs there, right? It belongs right there. So one of the things that he was asked about is whether Trump is going to visit California. And here's what he had to say about a potential Trump visit.
and then Governor Brown. I know you just put out a letter asking President-elect Trump to come here. What's your main message to him?
I'd like the President of the United States, at least the President-elect, to come and visit. The people out here, his lives have been completely torn apart. I want him to visit and understand the magnitude of this scope and what happened to the American people that happen to reside here in California. And it's with an open hand, not a closed fist. And I'm not interested in politicizing an event like this. I don't like the banality of it. I don't like the inhumanity of that. I would like people to focus on a collaboration between the executive in Washington, D.C. and in the state of California to help rebuild a community that's been completely ravaged.
He wants money. He wants money because he didn't do his job. He didn't do his job. So now he's speaking in, political speak. He's doing the Prague speak, right? And he's like, what did the whole not a closed fist, but an open hand.
Open hand.
Really? An open hand. Fist. Come see it because the humanity. And since we didn't do our jobs, we're going to be looking to the federal government to pick up the bill.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's what he's saying. Mm-hmm.
And he had the time, and I thought this was even extra gross. Like, it's one thing if you're caught up to by reporters who are on the ground reporting about what's going on. He took 3 hours to go on the Pod Save America podcast. Oh my God. And so one of the things that he talked about there was he has this new tone now where he's demanding answers, and he's getting a lot of mixed messages from all the people that are actually responsible for taking care of the fires. And damn it, he's going to get to the bottom of this because he's Gavin Newsom and he's so important. And it's so freaking fake. Look at this.
So I'm the governor of California. I want to know the answer. I've got that question. I can't tell you about how many people, what happened. My own team saying what happened, and I want to get the answers. And I'll be candid with you, I wasn't getting straight answers.
Yeah.
I watched the press conference. I met with some of those leaders. We had my team start talking to local leaders, saying what's going on. Our state.
And you weren't getting straight answers from.
I was getting different answers.
Oh my God.
When you start getting different answers, then I'm not getting the actual story, and they're assessing it, and I get that as well. You have to a little bit of grace. Back to the point, we're in this emergency environment and everything else. So I just want to determine the facts, but no one has any patience anymore. In this weaponized, back to the grievance of Trump, everyone else, there's immediacy. And lies travel the proverbial world, and it's hard to get the facts out there unless you have backing of those facts and you can communicate them soberly. And so that's what we're trying to achieve as relates to this. But I have 10 other things we're doing concurrently as well. I mean, across the board on recovery, disaster assistance, getting the major disaster declaration. It may be the first one in U.S. history over a text with the White House within literally 36 hours. To get 100% reimbursement for folks out here. We've been working concurrently in all of these areas. We're doing executive orders as I speak as it relates to recovery and land use, dealing with speculation and fraud, and trying to address issues on the Coastal Commission here and address the issue of planning permits and how we address all of the myriad of needs for small businesses, all of this in real time. Again, as the state, even though this is not a state responsibility area, to support the city and the county that are overwhelmed at this moment.
It's not my job, basically.
My blood is boiling when I watch.
Right?
I just like, I have so much rage. I have to control it. I have to talk to myself and say, Daisy, calm down. Because I know his face and just his demeanor, his response to this. What is it with these guys going on podcasts? What is it? Like, what is it with them thinking that during this time of disaster, he should be doing his job, not going on a damn podcast? Like that alone pisses me off. Like, should I just start pretending to be a governor and a senator and a congressperson? Maybe that would help things if I did that, because at least I do the freaking job, right? These people are useless. He is useless. He's going on a podcast and bitching and moaning about the job that he was supposed to do. That's what these guys do all the time, is they bitch and moan because they're like, oh wait, I was supposed to actually do the job.
Wait, I'm the one that's accountable. I'm actually in charge of the state.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
dude, it's you.
I was supposed to do that. Wow, that's icky. That makes me feel icky. I'm going to complain about it on a podcast. It was your job. If you don't like the job, don't do it.
And
Let
you
somebody in
enacted
there to do it.
policies
Right.
which contributed to how
Ugh.
fast this fire spread. And so that's the part we'll have clips in just a little bit too, where he's even bitching to President Biden about the misinformation. He is part of that misinformation. And this was a perfect example. So 24 hours like Eric Doherty pointed out, Gavin Newsom 24 hours ago blasted out a post claiming that the water supply was just fine. And then fast forward 24 hours, and he sent a letter to local and city authorities saying, what happened? Why was there no water available to put out the fires? So he's the one that's trying to complain about misinformation while he's misinforming everyone.
Right.
Is just super, super rich.
Yeah, he did it. Adam Schiff went on talk shows this weekend talking about how the water was fine. The water was fine. He got community noted to where. I mean, it's like these people just lie. He continues to lie. What really bothers me though is that there are a lot of people on the left who will continue to believe him.
Oh, I know. And I think I've kind of figured out part of the reason why. And we have a clip later on in this segment that will demonstrate the reason, at least partially, that I think he's able to snow people. I think he just talks and talks and talks so much that people misinterpret it as competence and like wisdom and just competence, really, because he is so slick.
He's slick. Right. He's really slick. He's like the best used car salesman ever. Oh, this car is really great. It's really great. You like really need this car.
Yeah.
And
he
guy.
talks so much that and you're so overloaded with like the fancy words and like the eloquence that you forget almost, or some people will watch it and not realize
how useless he is.
Full of shit.
He is
totally full
useless. Completely and totally useless. I mean, most of us, all of us here can see that the guy is completely full of shit. He is. He is a complete scam artist. He's a con man. The guy is a complete con man. But he says that he uses all the right progressive speak.
Yeah,
and he's
so good at it.
And there are people that I saw on Twitter over the weekend, like just clips of people over the weekend that were just like, I can't believe he's being blamed for this. I know. They have actual empathy for this snake, this complete lying snake who will take no accountability and is pointing fingers and going on podcasts and not doing his job and not stepping up. And meanwhile, their state is burning down around them. And they actually have empathy for this guy. It's astounding.
And he's getting bailed out by us. He's getting bailed out by us once again for his own failures. And that should piss off everybody. And then he goes on, there's another clip from the same podcast where he's like, I just really I don't want to play this finger pointing game.
Of course you don't.
Are you freaking serious with this?
Yeah.
No, it may be the absolute explanation, but there's so much mistrust and finger pointing. Let's just get the facts and let's get them out quickly. Let's stop the finger pointing. Let's just assess the truth.
Oh my God.
I'm not interested in who's to blame. I want to know what happened.
Yeah. He doesn't want the finger pointing because the big giant finger is going to point directly at him.
Yep.
That's why he doesn't want it.
Right.
This guy.
Oh my God.
Piece of work, this guy. It's just unreal. I mean, he is such a girl man, and that's mean to girls.
So here he is on a phone call or like a Zoom call or whatever with Kamala and with Biden, just complaining about the misinformation again, which, as you just saw, he has been a part of. But here he is going, save me, Biden.
We've got to deal with this misinformation.
Oh,
hurricane force winds of mis and disinformation, lies. People want to divide this country, and we're going to have to address that as well. And it breaks my heart. People are suffering and struggling. That we're up against those hurricane forces as well. And that's just a point of personal privilege that I share that with you because it infects real people that are out there, people I meet every single day, people the mayor's been meeting with, and they're having conversations that are not the typical conversations you'd have at this time. And you wonder where this stuff comes from. And it's very damaging as well. But we're here to get the job done.
Right. He's there to get the job done. Kind of like when he talked to that woman last week and he was pretending to be on the phone with Biden.
Right.
Yeah, it's super authentic. You jackhole.
Oh my God. But of course, Biden feeds right into it. And he was trying to say, I can't believe that people are blaming you for water not being in the hydrants. What a joke. And I was just like, but it's not a joke. That's actually what happened. So what you're going to see now is that clip with Biden. And then immediately following, you're going to hear an actual news report about what's going on the ground.
Look, I think you're getting a bad rap. I know you're getting a bad rap about these fire hydrants don't have enough water in them. Give me a break.
Apartment building engulfed in flames. I saw the fire engine pull up this afternoon. A fire captain have one of his firefighters attach a hose to a hydrant, and that hose didn't fill up, Alex. And I asked the captain, out of every 10 hydrants you attach to today, on average, how many are you getting full water from? He says little to none.
And that's MSNBC, you guys.
Yeah.
That wasn't Fox, just FYI. Yeah. So he's getting a bad rap. At this point, I think it's just abusive to have Joe Biden even put in public. He shouldn't be talking to the American people at any time whatsoever. And if they put him out there, just give him an ice cream cone, let him just suck on that and just not speak. Because it at this point, really it is. We've got 7 days. It's just abusive to us at this point.
Guys, it's just 7 days.
7
now.
days.
Okay.
7
okay.
glorious.
We can do this, you guys.
days.
We can do it.
Yeah. I can't take any more of that guy. I can't even watch it.
It's just absolutely unbearable. You guys, just a quick moment to mention our friends and sponsors at Aura. If you want to protect your data from data breaches and data brokers and the dark web, having all of your information, visit aura.com/chicks. You can start a free 14-day trial to see how much of your information has already been exposed. Aura has just a huge amount of amazing protective products and services that are all built into their one offering. You can get things like the data broker opt-out, financial fraud protection, identity theft protection. You can get a VPN, antivirus, password management, all that kind of stuff. And listen, I want to share with my screen with you guys for a second, because according to CNET, they are the best identity theft monitoring service. So if you go to CNET, you can see that Aura got a really, really great review, which is awesome. So check them out. Try your 14-day free trial. It's at aura.com/chicks. Okay, brace yourselves, buckle up. I know this is hard and painful. Okay. We're going to get through this Gavin segment. I promise you. But this is the clip that I was referring to earlier, where he's got this amazing gift at just talking in an overwhelming way that I think makes dumb people feel really like, wow, this guy knows what's going on. He's got a plan. He's got it together.
About me. He cares
about me. Yes. He is so talented at this.
Right.
I mean, like
that guy.
Having a political skill. I mean, this guy gets an A++, whether you hate him or love him, he is good at this. And the weird thing about this, what he got a lot of criticism for in this particular interview, he also does a lot of really big hand motions and movements. And like, you'll notice it. Like if you imagine, if you just start to tune him out, because this is one of the longer clips. If you start to just tune him out, just look at the dancing he does, because there's a lot of dancing, but here he is at his absolute best / worst.
To announce a new executive order. What is this executive order? What are you hoping to accomplish?
Look, we've got to be thinking 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years ahead. At the same time, we're focusing on the immediacy, which is life, safety, and property. And so that's exactly what we're doing with disaster assistance, making sure people are getting their applications, addressing the issue of fraud. And that's an issue we've got to address, price gouging. So executive orders on price gouging, recovery. We want to get inspections, units like this. We want to get our inspection teams out here. They're already starting to get out here. We've come up with some timelines so we can get within the next few weeks all that done so people can get their insurance claims. We can then start the big contracts to remove the debris, to address all the hazmat issues. Same time as I got to button up the canyons here.
Button it up.
Potential flooding with a lot of atmospheric rivers. Remember, we're in the middle of winter. This is January. In fact, the day of this fire, not a stone's throw away, it's a crow flies, there was snow right up the mountain here, the same day. as this devastating fire here in Altadena. And so all those things have to happen concurrently. But here's the big thing. I'm worried about issues of rebuilding as it relates to scarcity, as it relates to property taxes, meaning scarcity of resources, materials, personnel. I'm worried about time to getting these projects done. And so we want to fast track by eliminating any CEQA requirements. I got Coastal Act changes that we're making. I want to make sure when someone rebuilds that they have their old property tax assessments and that they're not increased. So all of that's been done in the executive order we just announced.
CEQA, Governor, and the Coastal Act are both environmental regulations. And if you're going to be suspending those temporarily, are you concerned about problems that may result from the suspension of those environmental regulations and a potential abuse by developers?
Yeah, we're not going to, and within this executive order, we frame those abuses. We basically bookmark that in the context of maintaining the existing footprints. The Coastal Act, they allow just a 10% variant. So we're going to be very mindful of that. California leads the nation in environmental stewardship. I'm not going to give that up. But one thing I won't give into is delay. Delay is denial for people. Lives, traditions, places, torn apart, torn asunder, families, schools, community centers, churches. You've seen it. The number of schools that have been lost in this community, and we've got to let people know we have their back. We're going to be back. We're going to do it efficiently and effectively. Don't turn your back. Don't walk away because we want you to come back, rebuild, and rebuild with higher quality building standards, more modern standards. And we want to make sure that the associated costs with that are not disproportionate, especially in a middle-class community like this.
Tell me that was not masterful.
He just, you know what he reminds me of? He's like, baby, I didn't mean to hit you. I love you.
Right?
I love you. It's going to be better this time. It's going to be better. We're going to be so awesome. This time it's going to be great. I'll never hit you again.
He is that guy.
He's that guy. He is that guy. It's who he is.
And I mean, I like the dancing actually adds to the whole. He's so freaking good at it, and people buy it.
Just people who are weak and weak and pathetic buy this. He is a colossal scumbag.
Oh God, the worst.
He's abusive. And the guy is just like, he doesn't do his job. He abuses the state of California. And then he's like, it's going to be better this time, baby. It's going to be better. Come on. It's going to be better. Look at all the hand motions and I'm going to give you a hug and it's going to be great this time. No, it isn't. It isn't.
Oh my God. So you saw all the dancing, right? Like
yes. Oh my
God.
Just
there's so much of that. So in this one, this is a different interview, but he was talking about, he was like, he'd been on the phone, I guess, with the governor of Hawaii. And of course, you know, the fire that they dealt with in Hawaii, there's this problem of all of these land developers coming in and buying up all the land. And so that's a concern with California as well. And he's talking about that. And you guys, the dance, he actually does this.
He looks Macron and Trudeau.
He actually looks happy when he's talking about land speculators.
Oh my
and
God.
So I'm telling you, this is like he's so choreographed and like it's a gift.
They all are. They all are. It's theater. He is just one of the actors in this production that is called progressivism. He is.
So watch for the shimmy. Here we go.
Of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days.
Sociopath. He's a freaking sociopath. Yeah. Hey.
Oh my God.
Look at me. I'm the governor. Woo! I'm doing the governor dance.
I mean, you guys, that was not normal. That's not normal behavior to talk about land. I know everyone's like, okay, that's enough. I don't think I have any more clips of him. I promise.
No.
Just a couple of headlines related that we absolutely have to cover. Like the fact that he had tweeted about this. He was so mad. He said, stop encouraging looting by lying and telling people it's decriminalized. It's not. It's illegal. It's always been. Bad actors will be arrested and prosecuted. No, they won't.
Voters had to repeal what he did just like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
You cannot make this stuff up. I swear. Yeah, he campaigned against Prop 36. He campaigned against it. What? Am I missing something?
I mean, and then the worst part is that he and other Democrats decided to use this to fundraise. So they were saying, oh, if you want to contribute, if you want to help the people, and if you want to get really good information about what's actually happening, Gavin Newsom posted this link. He's saying there's a lot of misinformation out there. I've launched a new site to ensure the public has access to the correct data. The website goes to his campaign website. Mm-hmm. And then the link that Elizabeth Warren and he and others were sending takes you to Act Blue, which is the Democrat fundraising website, which has been known to be super, super shady. Yeah. So it's all such a big scam. Tim Pool had actually tweeted about this, about how it works. And here is what he said. You can read this. Actually, read this to everybody so they know.
I get my blood pressure. Okay. Well, so the racket is podcast promotes foundation taking donations via Act Blue. Act Blue takes a cut 3.95% to run operations, including fundraising services for Democrat political campaigns. Foundation then pays for sponsorships on Democrat podcasts in order to promote themselves. Brilliant organizing on the left to fund their political machine. When you donate to a charity and you are routed through Act Blue, you are helping fund Democrat political campaigns, infrastructure, and podcasts. Democrats probably love it. The average person probably doesn't know. Well, now you do.
Now you do.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
People are depraved.
God, it's just sick.
It is. It's so gross. And then meanwhile, there are actual liberals out there, people on the leftists going, He's so benevolent. I just love that Gavin Newsom.
He loves for president.
He loves me. He cares about me. He wants what's best for my family. He should run for president. Stop it. Just stop.
It's
Snap
horrible.
out of it.
It's so vile. So vile.
He's eating at French Laundry right now. Right now.
And totally making fun of all of us.
Totally.
That's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And he just bought like a $9.5 million house somewhere in California.
Right.
So
he's worth
governor's doing just fine.
He's worth $30 million. How do you think they do that? I mean, I know he has a rich wife, but how do you think that these people do it? Take a guess.
Yeah, take a guess.
Yeah.
There are other, of course, actors, officials, politicians in California who there's a lot of blame to go around, right? I don't, we've talked about the whole DEI aspect of the LAFD. The fire chief, to her credit, she's hugely qualified from a job history perspective to be in charge. The problem is the focus is not on the right stuff. And that's what we've complained about. It's not that she's personally not qualified. It's that the entire department only focuses on how important it is that they have a gay person leading it and, another gay person like second in command and so on. That's what's ridiculous. But even she has gotten sick and tired of Mayor Bass and the fact that not enough blame has been put on the fact that they were defunded, that they don't have the resources that they need. And she was getting real outspoken about that over the weekend. Here she is being pressed about whether or not she and her department were failed by the city.
City of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city?
It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community.
Did they fail you?
That is our job. And I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs.
Did they fail you?
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's pointing fingers at everybody. And no one's doing their job. So, I mean, I hate all of these people.
Well, there's a lot of blame to go around.
Right. Every single one of them. Because I don't think anybody did their job at any point on the ladder. Mm-hmm. No one did it. I saw something over the weekend. This is probably so inappropriate, but y'all know how I roll. So somebody said they should have put the fires out with gender fluid. And I was like, yeah, they should have. Because this.
Damn.
Right. I mean, this is the thing, because they were all of them at every single point on that ladder. That's all they were concerned about. Mm-hmm. So she can try to point fingers, but this is, you guys, it was a screw up on every single level. No one said, hey, maybe we should think about actually, fighting fires
and preventing their spread.
Right.
Because to be fair, at least one was due to arson. And so now there's starting to be some arrests when it comes to the arsonist, which is unfathomable to me. Oh, and by the way, the one arrest that has been made, it's an illegal surprise. I mean, because if you think about it, this is the easiest terrorist attack to pull off ever. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Because they know how bad California sucks at this. So if some bad actor wanted to get into the country and decide, how can I do some serious damage and then just sit back and watch it all unfold on TV and nobody will ever catch me?
Yeah. Well, what's a state that does zero forest management? That would be Gavin's state, because he's busy doing a dance and shimmying on camera.
Shimmying about dance speculators.
Yeah, it's a slam dunk for people who are total jerk criminals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here the fire chief is again on with Jake Tapper, again kind of throwing the mayor under the bus, saying that the defunding was a huge problem. Here she is again.
Clear the $17 million budget cut and the elimination of our civilian positions like our mechanics did and has and will continue to severely impact our ability to repair our apparatus. So with that, we have over 100 fire apparatus out of service, and having these apparatus in the proper amount of mechanics would have helped. And so it did absolutely negatively impact. I want to also be clear that I have, over the last 3 years, been clear that the fire department needs help. We can no longer sustain where we are. We do not have enough firefighters.
Well, you probably don't have enough firefighters because you mandated everybody to get the vaccine.
That's a good point.
Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know.
And then you guys look at these odds. I mean, this is pretty amazing. So this is part of the leadership. That includes her, who you just saw, Christina Crowley. Mm-hmm. But then look at the other two people. There's an assistant fire chief, and then there's an equity chief. And they're all named Christina. They're all part of the LGBTQ community. They all have insanely inflated salaries.
Right.
And what are the chances? So somebody actually figured out the odds that one fire department would have 2 white and 1 black lesbian fire chiefs is 1 in like a hugely complicated, impossible number.
Yeah.
That's their focus. And that is crazy.
It's like, you're a white man? No, thank you, but no. We don't need you here. We don't.
Yeah. I mean, that might be part of the problem. Just
you think
possibly,
maybe but you say that out loud and people are just like, oh my God, you're gay phobic. What is it? Homophobic. You're whatever. Mm-hmm. You're lesbian phobic. This is statistically weird.
Yeah.
What it is.
It's messed up. And this is a focus that has cost lives and property. Like there's no question about it. That's just a fact at this point.
Remember the movie Backdraft?
Yeah.
Not a single lesbian.
Yeah, that's so weird.
It was just, I'm just pointing it out. You guys remember? Kurt Russell was hot in that movie. Do you remember how hot he was in that movie? He was really hot. I mean, he's still hot, but like he was hot. It was good. It was a good movie. Even Billy Baldwin, kind of hot in that movie. That's before he turned weird. It turned really, really weird. Yeah. He was one of the cute Baldwins. He's probably the cutest Baldwin. We could probably have a whole discussion about that. There's like 4 Baldwins. I would venture to say back in the 80s, he probably was one of the cutest Baldwins.
That's probably true. I mean, Alec, as much as psycho as he is, back in the day,
very handsome. He was during the Beetlejuice days. True. I will give you that. However, Backdraft, just going back to Backdraft, I don't remember seeing, any of this DEI stuff. I miss the 80s, you guys.
Same. Mayor Bass is getting a huge rash of shit, deservedly, over this video that she made I think she wanted to cheerlead LA and be like, come on, you guys, we can get through this. We're going to get through this together. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, as she's talking about the tragic amount of loss, she is smiling like an insane person.
Yeah.
So she's getting a lot of flack for this. I think it's deserved. This is weird. This is just a weird facial expression to have when you're talking about tragic loss.
Angelinos, we're still going through it. And to any of you and all of you that have experienced a loss, the grief, the anger, the just utter shock. I've seen the devastation. It is unbelievable the amount of loss that people have experienced.
Smiling.
Why are
But
you
we
smiling?
have to get through this crisis, and I know that we will. I was at the Sylmar command post today, and I saw the work of our first responders and how they've been able to defeat the fires in certain areas. We know we still have much more to go, and we know the winds are going to kick up again. But we got to stick together. We got to stand strong. And then we have to rebuild our city. We're the nation's second largest city, one of the greatest cities in the world. And we stay together, and we will rebuild an amazing city. So thank you, Angelenos. And my thoughts and prayers are out to all of you that are going through unbelievable loss and pain today.
She's a sociopathic Marxist, this chick. She's a total Marxist. And
wow, that was crazy.
And that whole like Joker smile.
Yeah, it's a Joker smile.
Not a good look, lady. Not, you may have wanted to work on that when you were like trying to be an actress and going out there. Maybe like looked in the mirror a couple more times to work on that. Because it's not a good look.
You gotta listen. This is why I would be a terrible mayor, because I'm a fan of smiling, and
you
I don't
smile all the time. But listen, I have seen you. We have worked together and been best friends for a very, very long time, and you have had to talk about some awful, awful things. I assure you, you were not smiling while talking about those awful things. Come on, because you're.
I do know. There's a time and a place. You know what I mean?
Right. We've had to cover some really terrible things. And I mean, your favorite thing to do is to smile. And you don't smile during those things, It's like, what? She's a sociopath.
That was just so weird. So weird.
Mm-hmm.
And quickly back to the DEI thing, because I know last week we talked about the fact that the emergency alert system in California also got super borked, and they ended up sending like an evacuation notice to 10 million people when it should have only been around 330,000 people in a specific area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying anything with specificity about the guy in charge of the broadcasting system, or at least their spokesperson, but see if you notice anything in particular about the guy giving a rundown on what the failing of the emergency broadcast system. I just feel like there's something to notice.
Well, in coordination with our federal and state partners, how we can stop the messages that are going out right now that are not being initiated by a human action, to stop that, and then understand how that occurred, so that the tool can still be used for what was identified as like a critical fire weather that we're still in experiencing and will continue to experience.
Is everybody gay? Is everybody gay?
That's my point. Why are you gay?
I didn't. That was the first time I've seen that clip, you guys. I'm prepared for pretty much everything else, but I was not prepared for that. So I've not seen that. That's the first time I've ever seen that clip. Everybody's gay. Everybody's gay.
He seems so competent, didn't he? So sure of himself.
Oh yeah. It's like, is that the number one criteria when you go to work for the city of Los Angeles?
Apparently so.
They're like, are you gay? No. Okay, you can't work here. You can't. Right. You can't work. I'm sorry. Do you like to sleep with somebody of the same sex or of an opposite sex? I'm sorry. I'm strictly dickly. Daisy, you can't work here because you are strictly dickly. Oh, okay. I can't work in Los Angeles because I, in fact, am strictly dickly. It's
starting to be a problem. You guys.
Weird.
It's weird.
They discriminate against straight people. I feel like this is becoming a problem.
I know. This is the thing. That's why I was like, what? This is a thing. This is not something that conservatives are just using as like a talking point. This is a thing that is actually super noticeable now.
Yeah. A little bit. Oh my gosh.
All right. I have to remind everybody, unfortunately, that Maxine Waters is still a member of Congress, you guys. And she is old, like super, super old. She was on with Chris Cuomo on News Nation and talking about how this is a rich person's problem to solve. That the whole reason that LA is burning is because rich people don't pay their fair share of taxes. Even Chris Cuomo was like, dude, check this out.
It can also be seen that you don't want to talk about the politics because it's on your party, because the mayor and the governor are Democrats who arguably should have had the people in Altadena better prepared for this. They should have the resources more available so they don't need me to put them up because the state has been doing the work. And that if they've been preparing the situations for wildfires like they were made aware of, instead of cutting deals with PG&E and insurance companies, they would have prepared the state. That is not unfair criticism. Is it too soon? Maybe, but the questions are real.
Let me tell you something. I'm not in the business of protecting anybody. And I think that my work over the years that I've been involved have been absolutely on point in dealing what has to be dealt with in order to help the people. First thing you got to understand is services cost money. And we should be willing to get the richest people in this country, the richest 1% that is protected, make sure they pay their fair taxes so that we can have the money to provide the services.
Californians pay more in taxes than in any other state.
Than anybody. Yeah.
What in the world?
Yeah. Like people like Sarah Foster would disagree with that hag. It's like we pay the most in taxes. So where are our firefighters? Oh, that's right. You send it all to Ukraine.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's like that's your priority. Maxine, she looks bad.
She doesn't look good.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to be mean to an old lady, but damn, girl.
And she gets so mad at the accusation as a Democrat that there should be any criticism towards their party over this. Well, there should be.
Yeah.
And that's why he gave it to you.
She should be mad at her wig maker because she's got to handle that. It's like always like in a place that it shouldn't be. You know what I mean?
know. There are news reports, this is according to Nick Sorter, that the Pacific Palisades Reservoir was empty and offline. It normally holds 117 million gallons of water. Could have been pretty helpful. And now the Department of Water and Power, their officials have been forced to admit that it being offline likely contributed to the dry fire hydrants and low water pressure that they experienced in the Palisades. And we had talked last week about Janice, whatever her name is, the CEO of the water company in LA. Here is a video. This is from before the fires. But again, once again, this proves what their priorities are. When you listen to Janice talk about it, you'll understand. $750,000 a year. Just remind you, that's her salary.
It's just
You call it powered by equity, and I know that it's been really important for the DWP to put an equity lens on everything.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the number one thing that attracted me to this role. It's important to me that everything we do, it's with an equity lens and social justice and making sure that we right the wrongs that we've done in the past from an infrastructure perspective and that we involve the community in that process.
This is what social justice and equity and DEI does. It burns things to the ground. It burns beautiful things to the ground. There you go. There you have it. I mean, it like there could not be a more poignant representation of what this shit does.
Yep.
We're watching it.
But unfortunately, I saw a poll. It was almost 40,000 people in California were polled, and 75% of them say this is due to climate change and has nothing to do with infrastructure or government problems.
Well, then they get the government they deserve, Mock.
That's exactly right.
This is the thing. I mean, these are the same people that voted. They will continue to vote for the Gavin Newsoms and the Adam Schiffs and the Nancy Pelosi's. They'll continue to do it, and you can't help them. You can't.
I know.
Then let your state burn to the ground.
Well, Nicole Shanahan is fighting back.
But that's the thing is we shouldn't have to pay for them.
I know. And we always do. We always end up being the bailouts, right? It's our money. And this is why we're going so broke. I mean, this is the problem. Nicole Shanahan said, for all you climate change doomsayers, California has been out of a drought since 2022. We've seen record rainfall, yet the California Department of Water Resources, big city mayors, and the governor have failed to use that water to increase ground hydration and strengthen their emergency fire response. I mean, it's just so freaking obvious. And yet that's a pretty big sampling of people, 40,000 people, and 3/4 of them are like, oh yeah, this is totally climate change.
Yeah.
God.
It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. At this point, we're living in idiocracy.
Totally. One person, and of course, there's been many people, including celebrities, who have lost their homes. But I just want you guys to be thinking about poor BLM founder Patrisse Cullors, because 2 of her 3 LA mansions were consumed by the fires. 2 out of 3 of them. Whatever will she do?
Go to the third one? She'll go to the third one.
I know.
She's got a third one. She's got a backup. So that's nice for her that she has a backup. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's an option.
Moving on from the fires, we need to talk about Joe Biden, who decided, I guess, because Trump keeps having these long, really good pressers where he answers question after question after question. I think Biden was feeling some heat, so he held his own presser. The first comment that he made was about Meta and about all this news that Zuckerberg made, I guess early last week, when he said, we're getting rid of fact checkers. Enough is enough. We're going to have free speech once again on the Facebook platform. And Biden is furious.
Let's take a listen.
Of walking away from fact checking, as well as not reporting anything having to do with discrimination regarding TPS, I find to be just contrary to American justice, the way we talk about one another.
You don't know.
Telling the truth matters.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's
this guy.
I know I'm on national television, but you all are local reporters and national reporters. I'm not. This is not a legit, real question, but what do you think? You think it doesn't matter that they let be printed, where millions of people read it, things that are simply not true? I mean, I don't know what that's all about. It's just completely contrary to everything America's about. We want to tell the truth. We haven't always done it as a nation, but we want to tell the truth. And the idea that, a billionaire can buy something and say, by the way, from this point on, we're not gonna fact check anything. And when you have millions of people going online, reading this stuff, it is, anyway, I think it's really shameful.
The amount that he doesn't understand what our country was founded upon, like he doesn't understand the amount that he is so just completely senile at this point.
And the lack of self-awareness too.
Right. I can't believe that Jill allows him to do this at this point. Like maybe she just hates him so much. She's like, just go out there and just be the worst president ever. His legacy is so awful.
Yeah.
He just makes it worse and worse every single time that he steps out on a podium. It's remarkable.
It gets worse because he was also asked in that same presser whether or not he had any regrets about not running. And he seems to think that he could have beaten Trump and that Kamala could have too, even though she actually didn't. It's like he doesn't know that the election is over. Here it is.
Mr. President, do you regret your decision to run for re-election? Do you think that made it easier for your predecessor to now become your successor?
I don't think so. I think I would have beaten Trump, could have beaten Trump, and I think that Kamala could have beaten Trump, would have beaten Trump. It wasn't about...
oh my God.
I thought it was important to unify the party. And when the party was worried about whether or not I was going to be able to move, I thought even though I thought I could win again, I thought it was better to unify the party. And it was the greatest honor in my life to be President of the United States, but I didn't want to be one who caused a party that wasn't unified to lose an election. And that's why I stepped aside, but I was confident she could win.
He was trying so hard to remember the talking points there. But I mean, he was like, okay, I have them in a file somewhere in my brain that's being eaten away by dementia. I'm trying so hard. And you could just see it in real time. He couldn't remember all the talking points because they forced him out. We all know that. Anybody who says otherwise, just completely lying. And so,
I mean, he still hasn't spoken to Nancy Pelosi. Like, we know how this went, Biden. You don't have to make shit up at this point. Like, everybody knows.
Everybody with a firing synapse in their brain knows what happened. Yeah. And no, Kamala couldn't have won because she didn't win.
Like, that already happened.
No, it did. She's like,
what in the
where
world?
were you in November? Where were you?
Oh my God.
So
he was also asked because, there's still plenty of time for him to pardon God knows who. The question was, though, whether or not he plans to pardon himself. And he seemed, you guys, genuinely perplexed about that question. Here it is.
Your assessment is. Also, sir, on pardons, have you ruled out a pardon for yourself or any other additional members of the family?
For myself?
Yes, sir.
Well, what did I pardon myself for?
That's what I'm asking.
No, I have had no contemplation of pardoning myself for anything. I didn't do anything wrong.
He didn't do anything wrong, you guys.
He's done nothing
Maybe
wrong.
He doesn't think he did. Like, is it possible he just doesn't remember?
Yeah, like, doesn't remember, like, his son making all this money for the family and then dispersing the funds to the family. I mean, I guess when you have that, all these agencies in your pocket and you're able to do that without any opposition, and they let you do it willy-nilly, I guess you don't think you've done anything wrong.
Well,
Must
he was
be
also
nice.
he was also asked about other pardons other than himself and, who might be on the list and so on. And his answer makes it sound like he's waiting to see what Trump says, like who Trump might be talking about, going after. Which is super weird. Like, if you're going to pardon somebody, pardon them because you genuinely believe they didn't do something wrong that they've already been convicted of or that they're serving time for. But this is a very strange answer.
Sense of what other pardons and commutations you're considering in your last 10 days?
Well, the answer is no, because two things. One is that it depends on some of the language and expectations that Trump broadcast in the last couple days here as to what he's going to do. The idea that he would punish people for not adhering to what he thinks should be policies related to his well-being is outrageous.
What is he
but
talking
there's
about?
still consideration of some folks, nothing but no decision.
Thanks, have you talked about what kind of post-presidency? Have you decided what kind of role will you have post-presidency, sir? Do you plan to speak out after you leave Washington, or are you going to follow kind of more of the Bush model, where you're kind of out of sight, out of mind?
I'm not going to be out of sight or out of mind.
I feel like he will be.
We can only hope.
I feel like he's going to be very out of sight, out of mind. Yeah.
But what was that? What even was that answer?
I have no idea. Like, at this point, I don't think he knows. I don't know.
Oh my God. That was.
And listen, we've seen
something.
it. Trump is not full of revenge. He's just not.
No.
It's the other side of the aisle they are the ones who have just gone. It's been a witch hunt. We've watched it. It's one of the reasons Trump just got reelected. So I just find
it's been since 2015.
I know. It's just nonstop. We're all exhausted by it. So that's why I find it so interesting when he's like, oh, he's going to go after all these people. It's just going to be that. And I'm like, seriously? Do you have any self-awareness, dude? Any?
Well, and unfortunately, what did you say we had 7 more days?
7 days. It's
7
the
days.
13th. Today's the 13th. So, 6 if you really want to just exclude today.
I mean, but there's so much bad that can still be done You know what I mean?
Why do you have to say that?
Well, because he's continuing to do the bad things. They just extended temporary protection status for 18 months to 600,000 Venezuelans, 200,000 Salvadorans. So it's like everything that they're doing is set up almost on purpose to make Trump's transition as impossible and complicated as possible.
They're leaving
you know what
them.
I mean?
Yeah, they're leaving them a complete dumpster fire is what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're leaving them a total crap storm.
Yeah.
Because they want them to have so much to clean up. And they're just like, let's make it as hard as possible for them. And that's what they're doing, you know, but they're going to do it. You know, they have to come in, they have to clean up a ton of messes, and that he's good at that. And I think Vance will be good at that too. And so will the entire team. The entire team, I think, is ready day one to go in there and just start clean up on aisle 7, you know, because that's what this is going to be, you guys. First, it's going to be just like clean up. And then it's going to be, you know, implement policy, implement all the mandates that we've said that we want. They're just going to have to do it quickly and efficiently and do it as quickly as possible. Right.
Yeah. Well, and what's amazing is that the outgoing administration, you know, not just Biden, but Karine and Jake Sullivan and Blinken, everybody, they're convinced, they've convinced themselves that they're leaving the country in way better shape than the way they found it. And what's his name? Jake Sullivan was on a talk show this weekend, and he was asked, like, and you can tell that the question comes from a place of, how can you look around the world, which is basically exploding on every front? How do you look around the world and say that there is some place that's better now after the Biden administration? But the ease with which Jake Sullivan says that everything is better because of Biden is incredible. Check this out.
As we come to the waning days of the Biden administration, where across the globe could you point and say the United States is safer because of what we did here?
Well, I'd start by saying our alliances are stronger than we found them 4 years ago. They're stronger than they've been in decades. NATO is more powerful, purposeful, and bigger. Our alliances in the Asia Pacific are at all-time highs. And our adversaries and competitors are weaker across the board. Russia's weaker, Iran's weaker, China's weaker. And all the while, we kept America out of war. So I think the American people are safer, and the country is better off than we were 4 years ago. And we're handing all that off to the next team, as well as having the engines of American power humming, our economy, our technology, our defense industrial base, our supply chains. So the United States is in a stronger, more secure position, and our competitors and adversaries are weaker and under pressure. I think that's the main handoff that we will make to the incoming team.
What kind of pact with the devil do you have to make to say that crap on live television?
I mean, that's amazing.
Isn't it? Wow.
That's amazing.
It's unreal to me. Yeah. Okay.
Just going back to pardons for 1 second, I guess Michael Cohen, this is so funny to me. So he was on that show with Simone Sanders, who's just absolutely awful. And he is trying to suggest that Biden owes him a pardon because it's the same as Hunter Biden, that essentially Joe Biden should treat Michael Cohen like his own son. And even Simone Sanders is like, really? This, I mean, and she calls him out. She's like, dude, you're not his son. But just watch.
Yeah, I put in the application for a presidential pardon because I believe that Joe Biden has the same responsibility to me that he had to his own son. And I would expect that the same exact pardon that he gave his son has to go to me and to anybody else that's on that enemies list, whether they want it or not.
I wonder, have you heard anything back from the administration? Have you heard from the Biden administration? And I am struck by your comparing yourself and Hunter Biden. And I wonder if, well, I'm going to just tell you, Michael, because we're on national TV, we have a conversation. I don't necessarily think that's your best way to go get a pardon. I mean, Hunter Biden is the president's last surviving son. But your other point, why I do think is a strong one.
I'm somebody's son also, by the way.
Agreed. You are somebody's son. But I mean, to be very clear, you're not the president's son.
What? He's like,
the world?
Oh my God, what a loon this guy is. He's like, and then next, after he pardons me, I want him to adopt me. And then I want him to lay in bed with me and spoon me. That's what I want.
And his justification is, well, I'm somebody's son.
Yeah. So why doesn't he do that? This guy, what a loon.
Isn't that crazy? I could not believe what I was seeing, but yeah, that's real. That was a real clip.
Mm-hmm.
You guys remember how David Hogg wants to be like DNC chair, vice chair, or whatever?
I thought he owned a pillow company that failed. Did he do
Well,
that?
He tried that for like 45 minutes.
Okay. And then he failed. He failed.
Was a fail.
Okay. So now he wants to be in politics. That tracks.
Yeah. I actually hope this happens because I can imagine no one more ineffective than David Hogg. So if they elect him, I say more power to him. But he has himself a fan in Tim Walz who said, David Hogg represents exactly the kind of bold, dynamic, and courageous leadership our party needs right now. He has a unique ability to connect with the American people and to speak to the strengths of our party. Couldn't be happier to support him for DNC vice chair.
A young man like him seems like somebody that Tim Walz would like. Mm-hmm.
They go together like peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots, you guys. Yeah. David Hogg should actually look into applying in LA, like working for the fire department or something.
Oh, he's way too skinny.
Is he too? Well, I thought, is he gay?
Like he's got like Kermit arms. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. He'd fit right in.
Well, that's true. Maybe he could be newly in charge of the emergency broadcast alert system.
Right. Totally. He could just like lead the charge with his noodle arms. Yeah.
As we expected, and as we told you about last week, Trump was sentenced to that unconditional discharge, I think was the name of the official sentence, which just means that he doesn't have to do anything and that there's not going to actually be any punishment. And so there was a very busy weekend when it came to analysis of that. First and foremost, we should let you know that Jack Smith has resigned. This was expected, but it did happen. And good riddance. I mean, I think we can all agree that that's a good riddance.
Bye, biatch. Bye.
And we all know that Judge Merchan did this the way that he did it because he wanted to be able to tack on that convicted felon label to Donald Trump. But as Alan Dershowitz points out, just people are not having it.
Have I ever heard a judge announce in advance what his sentence was going to be? What he announced is, my sentence will be no sentence. That got two justices to be able to say, well, you know, he's not going to jail. Therefore, we don't take the case. He should never have announced in advance what the sentence was going to be. By doing it, he was trying to influence the Supreme Court, and he apparently did influence two justices. Now, the good news for Trump is he has four justices who seem to think this case is worthy of review. All you need is 4 votes for certiorari. You need 5 votes to win the case, but all you need is 4 votes to have the case taken. So he will appeal. He will appeal to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will take the case. Once the case is taken on the merits, I think it will be reversed if lower courts don't already reverse the case. So this is an instance of judicial manipulation, game playing, Alice in Wonderland justice by Judge Merchan. He had one goal. He wants to have one of those trophies, you know, hunters have, which have the animal that they killed hanging from their living room. He wanted a trophy with the head of Donald Trump that can be shown on it to everybody, all of his friends. He's the guy who sent Donald Trump into the status of being a convicted felon. I have some news. I will never call Donald Trump a convicted felon any more than I would have called a civil rights worker who was convicted of spitting on the street in the South when I was part of the demonstrations down there, a convicted felon. He is a convicted, innocent man, a convictedly framed up man. Nobody should call him a convicted felon because that plays into the hands of the get Trump mentality that is destroying our legal system. And Merchan has contributed greatly to the destruction of our legal system, as has the District Attorney of New York.
Yeah, these people are gross. Our judicial system is a complete swamp. It's so bad.
It's
All of our
so bad.
Yeah, our branches, I mean, our legislative and our judicial branch especially are just so warped. You know? Ugh.
And these activist judges are to blame. I mean, this is all so just, it's such a scam. Jonathan Turley also weighed in on the sentencing.
The fact is that this is not a criminal case in my view, because there's no underlying crime. Bragg took a dead misdemeanor, zapped it back into life as this pile of felonies. He essentially tried a series of federal crimes that the Department of Justice rejected. And he was only able to do that by this enabling judge. And I was not nearly as harsh on Juan Merchan until I sat in his courtroom. I was quite shocked with his rulings. I thought that they were well outside the strike zone and showed a lot of bias. But now the good news is that this case can be appealed in whole, and those decisions can be reviewed.
All of this is just like third world country stuff, you know, what we're seeing with our judicial system and with Merchan. And it's gross what's happening here. It shouldn't be happening in America.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's good. I don't know what the process is, like if Trump actually appeals directly to the Supreme Court or if there's another court that he goes through first. But it does sound like, from all the legal authorities out there, it does sound like, based on the merits of the case, it'll be dismissed. And we can only hope that happens.
And people on the left will still call him a convicted felon, but do we care?
They will.
We didn't care. We didn't care when we went and voted for him. Nobody
it helped him get elected.
Right. Exactly.
And then, of course, we've talked about like the strategery that Trump has had, making these hugely controversial statements about Canada, about the Panama Canal, and about Greenland. But what did we say from the very get-go? This is the stuff that starts the conversations. And just like clockwork, now we're starting to see that play out. The Prime Minister of Greenland has announced he's ready to talk with Trump amid these talks. Now, he did say, we don't want to be American, but the fact that he is open to talking about better ways to achieve cooperation,
right?
This is exactly what Trump wanted. And so you can't give the guy credit for the strategery.
What kind of economic gain can this guy get? And what can they get out of it? I mean, this is, of course, it is all strategy, and he knows how to do that. He knows how to make deals. So this is a good thing.
It's a great thing. It's an absolutely great thing. And then we talked last week about how John Fetterman is going to be like one of the first Democrat senators to ever visit Mar-a-Lago and have a conversation with Donald Trump. Reporters are like losing their shit about this. So they caught up with him as he was leaving his office, and they were all like, what are you doing? Why are you going to Mar-a-Lago? What are you guys going to talk about? And he was so annoyed with them because he's just like, we're going to have a conversation,
right?
I'm weirdos.
I'm going to go have good steak and good alcohol, and I'm going to be surrounded by gold. Why would you not want to do that?
Right.
You're idiots.
And I loved the way that he answered their questions. I know you guys will too. Check this out.
Hey, Senator. Can we ask you what you hope to get out of your visit to Mar-a-Lago to talk to Donald Trump?
What are we talking about here? Is there some news?
There's some news. We hear that you're going to be heading down to Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yes, I've heard that. Yeah.
What will you be discussing with the president?
Well, yeah, I demand that I need to be made Pope of Greenland.
Do you have the resume to be Pope?
I'm having a conversation like he's the president is going to be. So, I am not the senator for just Democrats in Pennsylvania. I'm everyone's senator in Pennsylvania.
And I thought that was a great answer.
It is a good answer. Yeah, he is everybody's senator. I think that's and
he's just going to have a conversation.
Yeah, this is again with the Prague speak. They don't want you speaking to conservatives. You can't speak to a conservative. That's just
enemy.
It's off limits. Can't talk to them.
I just love that he's like, I'm going to be the Pope of Greenland. And the guy was like, do you have the qualifications to be the Pope?
Yeah, it's on my resume. Yeah, it's like the media, man. It's
God, I mean,
stupid.
This is just so freaking stupid.
Our world is so dumb now. It's every day.
So JD Vance was on with Shannon Bream, and she asked him about whether Trump plans to pardon, or like how is the pardoning for the J6 prisoners going to work? And I thought, I see some people like losing their shit about this answer. This is the perfect answer to the question. I don't know why anybody would have a problem with this answer. Here it is. You guys decide.
Where is the line drawn on who will and wouldn't be considered for a pardon?
I think it's very simple. Look, if you protested peacefully on January the 6th and you've had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. And there's a little bit of a gray area there, but we're very much committed to seeing the equal administration of law. And there are a lot of people, we think, in the wake of January the 6th who were prosecuted unfairly. We need to rectify that.
Yeah, but if you did commit violence that day, like, I don't know what it is these people did. Don't you think they've served their time?
That's the thing.
I mean, my God, there are
like
rapists.
nobody killed anybody. If you like assaulted a cop, you should be doing some time. I don't know why any conservative would argue that.
No, nobody's arguing that. But I mean, I don't know what other I don't know what else they would have done to warrant being put in jail. But if they did something else that was considered violent and it wasn't against another human being, I feel like they've served their time. I mean, there are rapists that serve less time.
Exactly.
So I feel like they've served enough time.
Yeah.
And
But
really
people are saying that what JD said there goes against Trump, which I don't think it does at all. I think Trump is going to be, I think he's going to be thoughtful about who gets pardoned. He's not just going to say everybody gets a pardon. You know what I mean? Because there's some people that did like some really shitty things.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Biden's out there pardoning Chinese pedophiles and they don't bat an eye. They're like, oh, that's great. Or commuting people's sentences that have like murdered innocent family members of these people, like around Christmas that happened. Not a peep on the left. But these people who were there on J6, they just happened to be there. They were thrown in jail. You got grandma sitting in jail, and that somehow is okay. Why? Because they're conservative? Bugger off.
I know. Anyway, I thought that was a perfectly reasonable answer. I don't know why people are mad about it, but they are.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, in this segment, you had found this old clip. I guess it's from The Apprentice of Melania and Donald Trump and Barron when he was an itty bitty baby, when Trump is coming home from work.
Mm-hmm.
It is so freaking like, what is going on with the fashion in this clip? I was like, that cannot be Melania.
It's great.
But it is. And go. Why is this not going?
Hey, Daddy. Daddy's coming home.
Hi, honey.
Daddy. Hello, honey. Welcome home.
When this 14-week job interview is over, only one candidate will remain. Who will succeed? Who will fail? And who will be the apprentice?
What even was that?
Daddy's home, you guys. Daddy is home. I know I said that to her. I love the headband with the capris.
Oh my gosh. I just could not believe
that. I don't miss capris. I don't miss them at all. But the headbands, we got to bring the headbands back. I feel like we could rock some like silk headbands. Yeah.
That I was just not expecting to see her in that sort of getup.
Daddy's home.
Daddy's home.
He's home, you guys.
Okay, moving on. We got to talk about this Candace Owens thing with Emmanuel Macron.
So
she apparently had gone, I think we talked about this last week, that she had gone and met with some investigative journalists, spent like a couple hours with this person, because she's already talked about this on her show many, many times, that she believes Brigitte Macron is not an actual woman. And that there's all kinds of mystery about this, all kinds of proof. There's like there was a document that she referred to that's thousands of pages long that seemed, when I just did the bare minimum looking at it, I was like, this seems kind of legit. You know what I mean?
I'm on board with this. I'm on board with this whole thing.
I'm starting to be on board with this too. She's not backed off from this story, even though she's been told a million times that there's no evidence. She has continued to work at it. And she was apparently on January 30th, she was going to dedicate an entire episode of her show to really going through like everything that this investigative journalist told her. Well, Macron himself got wind of that and sent her like this 100-page letter, a legal letter threatening her if she comes out with this. And she was like, oh, no, you did not. So she hasn't done the full show about this yet, but she did talk about the letter. And now it comes out and they've admitted to this because before, like when he was running for election, he went with the story that, yeah, like his wife is older and yes, she was his teacher. And yes, they got together when he was her student. But the longtime story was that he was 17 years old at the time and she was 34, which is still so ew.
It's gross. It's very Mary Kay Letourneau, you guys.
So gross.
Yeah.
Well, now they have been forced to admit that he was not 17. He was 15. And now there's questions about whether that was legal at the time. Here is Candace to give the lowdown on that.
What on earth were they thinking, including that? Okay. But here's where it gets really interesting. Okay. Then they insist on explaining to me that calling someone a rapist in France, they have different laws, and they insist that it's not statutory rape because Emmanuel was or would have been 15. They heavily imply this. This is the exact verbiage from the letter. It reads, Mrs. Macron did not statutorily rape President Macron. Let us be clear that the age of consent in France is 15. The two met and fell in love in 1993 when she was a drama teacher and he was 15 years old. When President Macron was 17, he vowed to marry Mrs. Macron, following through with his promise. They wed in 2007 when President Macron was 29 years old. Now, I want to first let you guys know that this is stunning because all throughout the time that President Macron was running, their story was that he was 17 years old. Okay. Now we have here writing that they're now adjusting that. All the publications said, oh, he was 17. It makes him sound like he's almost legal. And she was, however, I think they said she was 34. And one of the things that we told you was that this whole legend that they created in the legacy media was dishonest, and they allowed this to go on and go on until people started looking, independent journalists, and going, wait a second, Emmanuel Macron was not 15. And I also believe there's an interview where Emmanuel Macron states that he met her before he was 15 years old. But them implying that the age of consent in France is 15 is actually wholesale dishonesty, because what they're leaving out is the age of consent at that time when they were together was 15 only if the person that they had the affair with, the sexual affair with, was not someone who had any power or control. That is still the law in France today. Okay. So in order for it to be age of consent, it cannot be a teacher. It cannot be a therapist. It cannot be any person when you are a minor that has control over you. And as they mentioned in that same paragraph, Emmanuel Macron was the student of Brigitte Macron. So that would not have been allowed under the law. And this is something that we are happy to debate. In America, this would be statutory rape one way or the other. And in France, I'm pretty sure that still constitutes statutory rape. But we will allow you to respond to that in a more thorough manner, because now that we've established a connection, you have no excuse not to answer our pointed questions.
Can you imagine if it were a flip, though? If Mrs. Macron was a man? Well, that's the jury's still out, right? You know what I mean? If it were like, and he was a woman, or who was a girl. Like, my daughter is 14. She's getting ready to be 15. I cannot imagine if
my God.
If the teacher was a dude, like preying on her in school. OMG.
Right? Like that's disgusting.
It is disgusting. Right. And so this whole thing is freaking weird. Now there's like this whole is Brigitte Macron a dude?
And they apparently in that super long letter, they were saying things like, she doesn't have to answer that. Like, so they don't just immediately say, here are a few pictures that prove that she was a girl from the time she was young. They immediately say she doesn't owe you that explanation, which is kind of weird.
It's
so
a little sketch.
Here's what Candace, she tweeted to Macron. This was, I think, yesterday. Please read this out loud.
Please instruct your lawyers to not ever tell an American what they can and cannot publish. You have kept many secrets in your life, but I am not your personal diary. All correspondences between our legal teams will be available for the public to read. We will be back to your team tomorrow with specific questions for you to answer ahead of the publication of our much wider look into Brigitte's earlier life. As we have already stated, the minor factual errors that we made regarding who gave birth to Brigitte's children will be corrected. Similarly, we will correct our assertion that the communion photo presented as evidence of her youth was recolored. We now know that it was not recolored, but we maintain that the person in the communion photo is not your wife, and we have strong evidence to support that claim. We are not in the business of telling lies. Therefore, we expect that you will, provided the opportunity, simply answer the substance of the question as to whether or not your current wife lived as a man prior to transitioning. We look forward to being in touch.
Oh, damn.
Oh, damn is right. It's just so juicy and interesting.
It is so
and I gotta
juicy.
tell you, I've seen, to me, she just looks like she is a man that transitioned to a woman.
Well,
She just looks like
you
that to
sent me that video. I'm going to show it
Mhm.
right now. This is a video. I don't know what the context is. She's standing up and maybe she's teaching. Who knows? But she goes to sit down. Find me
even
another
standing.
woman.
Even standing now, Mock. Look at her standing too.
Find me another woman who sits down like this, you
True.
guys, because I've never, ever, ever seen it happen.
I mean, look at her standing. But you're right. The sitting is. Did you? But there was. But if you let it play, even she sits and like just with her legs like. See, you're just.
Yeah, I mean, that's
a dude. Such a dude.
Doesn't it seem like it, you guys?
Yeah. And
I mean, we're not saying for sure, but like they're not
asking,
denying
listen,
it.
people are asking, why do we care about this? I care about it because our politicians lie to us.
And they need to be shown to be liars.
Right.
When
and
they
if this,
do it.
And if this is a lie, okay, if this is a lie, then what other politicians are lying about? What other relationships and what other things are they lying about? Just putting
this
it out
is such
there.
this is such a big lie too, that it feels like they were just testing the world to see if they could get away with it.
They could get away with the lie. Right. It's just
I
very
mean-
I listen, I am your girl when it comes to conspiracy theories. There are some that I'm like, I am not going down that rabbit hole with you. But this one, I will totally happily go down the rabbit hole on this one. I will.
And by the way, when I said earlier
Uh-huh.
that they're not denying it, they are denying it. They're just not offering any evidence, which would be very easy to offer. That's what's so weird about this. And that's what Candace is so obsessed with is she's like, they could prove that she's a woman lickety split. Like it would be so easy in so many different ways and they won't do it.
Okay,
Why?
question. Did they have children and who actually gave birth to the children? If they
I
do?
don't know. I don't even know that story.
Okay, I
don't
need
know.
I need to know all that. I'm gonna have to like figure all that out because if
Yeah.
they have children and she did not birth them, oh my god, are you serious?
Like
Come
what
on,
is even
y'all.
going on?
Right. Mhm.
Okay, moving on. I have a couple of really good things because before we get to talks, we need really good things. One of those
Yeah.
good things is Douglas Murray, who is just
Love him.
there's just nothing not to love about him.
Good
He
gem.
was he was on a TV show and actually defending America, the West, defending democratic normal countries whenever we as collective countries get accused of being racist. He has, like, anytime you ever hear somebody say America is a racist country, you need to send them this video and just say good day, because there's nobody that puts it better than Douglas Murray.
Make one
Here he
other
is.
point, if I may. It's always the countries that people want to come to who are put through this struggle session. Britain, like America and France, are the most desired destinations for migrants worldwide and have been for centuries. Why is that? It's not because we're racist. It's because we're better. It's because we're good. It's because when we see racism, we actually call it out and recognize it as a sin. Try finding that across Africa. Try finding that across the Middle East or in China. Nobody would hear. So what we have is a situation where the more virtuous countries are presented as the worst countries. It's sick, and most of us are tired of it.
Boom,
I love him. He's 100% correct.
He's so great.
God,
I love him
already. And we do not want that garbage making its way and infiltrating in America. I know it's partially here, but we cannot let it take root. We can't, because the UK, man, it is just lost.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Here's another really good thing. I had to cut it because it was quite a ways over 3 minutes, but you are about to see Southern California pastor Jack Hibbs in his service talking about the California fires, and he was lit. No pun intended. This is amazing.
This is the most wealthiest state in the 50. We pay the most in taxes. We pay the most in gas. We pay the most in electricity. You name it. If it's in California, we pay the most for it. Why? Why? Because of our government. Why? Because of things that Sacramento does because they can. Our flag of this state is an absolute abject lie. The flag says California Republic. It is not. A republic is where the people decide and the people have their way. What has happened to California? And you prove me wrong. I challenge you today, if you don't like what I'm about to say. California has been under unmitigated Democrat 100% power control. Democrat. Supermajority. What does that mean, supermajority? It means nobody can oppose their decision making. And now you've got it. You've got a situation where a catastrophe came and the billions of dollars that you and I gave was diverted to other woke, stupid Democrat projects. That's not hyperbole. It is a fact. You don't like it, change your party. If you don't like it, change different. But I'm telling you right now, I'm upset and I'm angry, and it's the right kind of anger.
He's right.
It's time to replace the leadership in California.
That's right.
Look at the response in California.
You don't
People
need
start
any
standing
more.
up.
You don't need any more examples. These fires could have been stopped.
Dang.
I mean, that's a church, though, presumably. So I would think that a lot of those people probably already have like conservative some of them, a lot have conservative leanings. You know, the other.
I mean, that was awesome.
Yeah. And then the atheists are the ones who are like, you know, praising Mother Nature and the climate gods. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
So
Anyway, somebody here says that's my pastor, and I agree.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard of him, and
What's
so
his
I
name again?
immediately Gibbs, I think, or no, Hibbs, Jack Hibbs.
Jack
So I
Hibbs.
immediately followed him on X because I was like, that is some good stuff right there. I would like to hear more from him.
Just Jack.
Just Jack. All right, it is time for some My Pillow Talks, and we got some good animal stuff for you today. First, we've got a golden who is not happy with broccoli, you guys, and I understand this.
The tree of doom. My gosh. You're golden.
I'm going to eat it, but I'm not happy about it.
You need a golden. They're so cute.
They are so sweet. I know somebody, I think they tweeted at me. They were like, I heard you say that you wanted a German short-haired pointer, but you those dogs are high energy.
Yeah, they are high energy. It's
That's
like
what
having an
Ron is afraid of,
Australian.
too.
It's like having an Australian Shepherd. You got to work with them, man.
Yeah, or like a
You
border
need-
collie.
you
Ron
need a
says the
lazy
same
dog.
thing. Well, that's what he said. He was because when we went to a neighbor's house this weekend, and they have a black lab who's 8. Her name's Folly, and she's precious, and she's just like the sweetest. Like she's just like Maisie. You know what I mean? She's bigger than
Right.
Maisie, but she's just like Maisie in that she's just so chill and just wanted to lay around and get pet, and like that's the kind of dog I need. So maybe a GSP isn't for me, even though I
Yeah.
love them. Maybe I need
Yeah.
another lab.
Uh-huh. Like even like some, you know, the Great Danes, like even Coda is very high energy and
Yeah.
gigantic. And that can
Right.
be a lot for people. It can be a lot for really 99% of people. So you just need to make sure that you pick the right breed that is not as
Ron
high
says I'm not allowed
energy.
to have a second dog until I can walk, which is fair. I get it. Like I totally get that.
I totally get it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's
So-
fair. You don't want
It
one until
is.
you can walk. Yeah.
I know. I want to be able to walk it.
Yeah, you gotta be able to walk the baby. Yeah.
That's
Mhm.
right. All right. The next up is a cat. If you had this cat, it would be a problem because you wear the glasses, and this woman
missed
can't.
Okay, I missed the first part because you froze up. So let me see.
Did I freeze?
Yeah.
Oh. This cat hates glasses.
He hates glasses. He's like, I'm gonna eat them. I'm like, oh my gosh. I wouldn't mind having that cat though.
You would never be able to keep your glasses on.
She's like,
I'm gonna get a different pair. Nope.
I'm gonna eat your glasses. You can't have them on. Oh my god. So cute.
She's like, no, you can't have those either, though.
Oh my gosh. I need a cat, you guys.
You probably do need a cat.
The universe hasn't delivered a cat yet. I'm just waiting.
It will.
I'm
I think it
taking
will.
I'm taking Theo to the vet today for his 1 year exam, to make sure he gets all the shots and stuff like that. I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's a possibility somebody dumped their cat there. Who knows? You never know.
At my vet's office, they used to have like cats in the to adopt in the office waiting room. Oh yeah, and they were so tempting all the time.
It's a country vet. You never know what's going to be there. Who knows?
You never know. We also have a montage of dogs and snow because since there is snow where a lot of people are right now. You guys will love this.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
He's like, no, thank you. I don't like that.
How much soda did we get?
It is bedtime. Let's go.
Mimic, you are not a fucking husky. Get in the house.
No, you ain't no husky. We black.
You're taking a poop on the road?
Oh, Captain! No! Get down here!
She's actually making a snowball.
Oh my god.
That is hilarious.
Oh my gosh. I love dogs.
I know. I just love them
greatest.
so much.
They're the
All
greatest.
right. Two more. One is another voiceover that is not Rockstar. So
Oh.
yeah, I mean, Rockstar is like the king of voiceovers,
Right.
but I gotta say, this guy's not bad.
Hey, Mark, guess what? Fuck you. Whoa.
Wait a second, what are those things? You're unleashing them? Get me out! Holy shit, they're swarming me! Demons! Fuck, get me out of here!
Just gotta shake. Smells really not too hot. All right, you got this, Carl. You can do it. Ready?
Oh, Carl.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not over there. Maybe it's in the ground here. No. All right, Jimmy, I'm gonna get you this time. 1, 2, 3. Fuck you. You've got a very slappable face, you know that? Keep my wife's name out of your Hey, who is that? Sharon? We talked about this. All right, it's my shack, so leave me be, and I can... What the hell? Get out of here!
Cutting up, I want a mouse. Cutting your mouse as fast as I meow. What the hell? You fucked it up, Marcus! Do it again. Cutting up, I want a mouse. Cutting your mouse as fast as I meow.
Marcus, the cat. That's a great name for a cat.
Right? It's just so funny and ridiculous. I love it. Okay, last one, and it's got to be Huskies. We got to take out Monday with some Huskies.
We haven't seen
in the
Huskies in a
morning.
while. Yeah.
Right? I kind of felt like that too.
been a while.
All right, here we go.
Oh my gosh. God, there's maybe that's what you need. Is a husky.
Oh my god.
Maybe you need that.
Just imagine.
Yeah, I can. Maybe that's what you need is a husky, a loud singing husky. Ron would love that.
We do have some Venmos to catch up on from last week, and then a couple from today, and then lots and lots of thank yous to dole out today. Plus, I have one gift that I want to recognize. We'll do that at the very end.
Okay.
But from last week, from Diana Logsden, she said, "This is for the Tucker impression from a few days ago. The laugh at the end was priceless. By the way, the pup in my pic is my Astrid."
Look, is your Astrid. She's so cute.
And then also on Venmo from over the weekend from Jennifer McDaniel, she said, "Good morning. Imagine was Jimmy Carter's favorite song, and they sang it at his wife's funeral as well." And like we pointed out, that may be well and true,
Still
but
weird. Still weird.
it's still weird to play it at a church service.
It is. It's really weird.
I don't get that. From Venmo this morning, Marilyn Ayre said, "Good morning, beautiful chicks. Gavin Newsom's performance this weekend reminds me of the Billy Flynn number in Chicago. All I care about is love." And then she sent a link to
my gosh. Yes.
that's pretty good. Osuki says, "No, Gavin wouldn't hit me again because his ass would be in jail and his shit would be in the yard and the locks would be changed," she says.
Yeah.
All right. Now you.
All right. Anastasia 63, simmer down now. I think that's for Steve Bannon.
Oh,
Curio
okay.
23, sounds like Steve Bannon needs to be taken away by Calgon. Yes, Curio 23. Kimberly Donaldson going to the inauguration and the Peachtree Ball.
Fun.
Totally repping the chicks all weekend. A bit nervous about safety though. Prayers for safe travels, please. Look at you,
got
lucky
it.
duck. The photo and the story. I'm cautious of Musk. He's funny and seems good on speech, but at his core, he is a transhumanist who believes we live in a computer simulation. Okay. I still think that he's got some good ideas and he's pretty brilliant.
And he saved the world. I mean, he helped save the world. So, I'm always going to be appreciative for that.
Yeah, definitely free speech. He definitely saved that. And I'm very, very grateful to him for that. Nathan Sangster. It's easy to say you don't want to know who's to blame when you're the one to blame.
Right?
Amen to that, Nathan. Robin Zecca. Pierre Polyev is my Scott Jennings. Ron, please take all my money. He's a good one.
Pierre, man. He is so awesome.
Connie Cannell. Did Newsom care about North Carolina? No, he did not. Take my money. Regina Pontes. So now he's going to do his job. Got it. I'm not sure who that's.
Probably Newsom.
Gavin. Wendy. Now he can build an Olympic city that will turn into his smart city. Coincidence? I guess taking federal money, I'm assuming. I don't know.
Yeah.
Susie Conklin. Thank you for the super sticker. Curio 23. LAFD finds their DEI hires on Grindr. Plenty of fish, Tinder, etc. It sounds about right. The Great Gatsby. I did a deep dive on the illegal immigration issue. Has anyone heard of the UN's Global Compact for Safe, Orderly, and Regular Migration? Blueprint.
Interesting.
Jose Rodriguez. Poll. Should fire retardant be dropped on GV's, on Gavin's greasy hair? Yes or no?
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Just to see. Brian Brumley. Been thinking about the same thing about these fires being a terrorist attack by bad actors coming across the border or a massive deportation protest. It's all very interesting, right? I mean, I don't know about the first one, but then once they got started, I think there are a lot of copycat weirdos running around. Mary Pat. Daisy, what did you think of Landman last night? Sorry to be off topic. I love every episode of Landman. What I'm really upset about is that that's the last one, and we probably will have to wait another freaking year for season 2.
I hate when that happens.
I love that show. I love it.
By the way, speaking of waiting for things for a year, if you guys watched Severance on Apple TV, season 2 starts on Friday.
I don't know anything about that show.
Oh my God, it's so good. I cannot
Jose
wait.
Rodriguez. Facebook would not let me use Gavin Newsom's name, but I also used the wrong initials. My bad. GV equals GN. Ugh, just take my money. We knew exactly what you meant, Jose.
Facebook wouldn't let you use his name?
Yeah, but they're not going to have fact checking. Okay.
God, when does that start?
I know, right? I don't know. Leah, to be fair, regarding California's mass messaging, Israel's warning system also sent false alarms to masses of people. It can happen with automatic systems.
Oh my God.
And Leah also said, it's a shame no reporter has the balls to ask Biden if he also thinks it's shameful every time he uses the very fine people lie. Take my money. You're absolutely right about that, Leah. God, it drives me crazy. Obama did it too. The fine people lie. I mean, they continue to perpetuate that. Yep. Teresa Raimundo, Joe is already out of mind. We just can't wait for him to get out of sight. Very true. Jay Carter, Simone Sanders is Ruby Road from the movie The Fifth Element. The way she speaks, once you hear it, you can't forget it. Okay. Connie Cannell, with the sun shining in your window, Daisy, it looks like you have an angel on your shoulder. God bless you both. That would be lovely if I had an angel on my shoulder. I would like that. Paula Johnson, get a dachshund, Mock. You will not regret it. That's a good
I do love them. They are so funny. But I feel like I want to have two similarly sized dogs.
The bigger one. Something a little bit bigger.
I like the
than a
bigger
dachshund.
dogs.
Yeah. I think that they do have, don't they have like standard dachshunds that are a little bigger? I think they have
They
ones.
do.
Yeah.
They do, but they're still, they're still super
pretty
short.
small. Yeah. All right, you
let's
guys.
bring it in, and then I will show my one gift.
Okay, we're bringing it in. Everybody bring it in. Big hug. Bring Monday hug. What'd you get, Mock? What'd you get?
I got from our friend Tammy Grant. She said, this is just because every new house needs a vintage raccoon taking a bath.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute.
Isn't that hilarious?
Tammy she has all the vintage, like she's a flea marketer like I am.
Yeah.
She loves all the antiques and all the things. That is really cute. Very, very cute, Tammy.
Thank you, Tammy.
You guys have the best Monday, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.